Imagine it's the mid-1990s again, and video games were getting more and more popular amongst kids and young adults. The 16-bit era has been at hand for years now, with the Super Nintendo in heavy competition with the Sega Genesis, over which was the better console. As much as I like the Sonic games, the Super Nintendo had the better video game library, with Nintendo partnering with other publishers to provide a plethora of games on their console. We are approaching the end of the 16-bit era and have already passed the 10th anniversary of the original Super Mario Bros. The Super Mario games at this point are already iconic and are the awe of the video game industry, with the most recent entry, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, taking Mario back to his time of infancy in the Mushroom Kingdom, effectively retconning the American television show Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the Super Mario Bros. Live action film that claimed his origins were from Brooklyn, New York. Playing this game and Donkey Kong Country 2 were a few of the games that I played during a very difficult 5th grade school year. However, at the end of my school year, in the spring of 1996, while watching Fox Kids, I saw a commercial for a new Super Mario game where you see Mario in an isometric view fighting a giant wedding cake, but with numbers coming out as you are hitting it. I had no idea what this was or what it meant. And what was more perplexing was the name of the game. I had no idea what RPG meant or what it even was, but one day I decided to rent it from the video rental store and instantly got hooked by the RPG gameplay, and for the first time, I would stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning on summer nights playing this because it was just that darn entertaining and fun. Developed by Squaresoft and published by Nintendo, Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars, was the highlight of my summer vacation between the 5th and 6th grades, a very welcomed addition to the Super Mario universe, and my gateway into other Japanese RPGs down the line. Before we get into gameplay and story, let us go back in time and see how this idea of a Super Mario RPG and a miraculous collaboration it was came to be. As we all know, Nintendo has been successful with its Super Mario games in the NES, and now the Super NES eras. Mario games were widely renowned by other video game developers all over the world, including the various teams at the Japanese company Squaresoft. Squaresoft is a company that is known for its turn-based RPG games at the time, like Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger, and real-time games like Secret of Mana. Square games were on Nintendo's NES and Super NES consoles, so the two companies did business together regularly, and the idea was thrown out there on what if there was a Mario RPG type game. So, one day, at a business meeting between Nintendo and Square, the topic came up about combining Nintendo's iconic plumber with Square's RPGs, and the prospect was exciting to the team at Square, who all had strong opinions on what Mario should be. It took a lot of ideas being thrown back and forth between the two companies before a path forward was paved that would satisfy both companies, which in and of itself is a miracle to accomplish. Square would come up with basic ideas and would run it past Nintendo, checking their work in the process. Square's team, led by Chihiro Fujioka and Yoshihiko Mikawa, did not want to simply take a traditional RPG and incorporate it with Mario characters, but to create a new genre of RPG exclusive to Mario. Fujioka's resume at this point included writing the Super NES game Final Fantasy Mystic Quest and produced and composed the music for Final Fantasy Legends 3 for Game Boy, so this was his first directing role. Since the Super Mario games are strictly platformers, the team felt the essence of Mario lied in his movement, hence the player's consistent input and engagement. Square made sure to keep that element in the game, jumping from platform to platform to get to a new area. Also, there are secret yellow platforms that will allow you to access higher areas and perhaps hidden secret question chests. So as development started roughly in 1994, the Square team decided to have Mario inhabit a 3D isometric world with 3D sprites. The world was filled with various types of locations, including forests, tropical islands, mines, castles, the clouds, and heck, even a factory in another dimension. Mario would still do various traditional Mario things, like running around, jumping and hitting question chests, and going down pipes, To make Mario an RPG, Square needed to devise a battle system. So in a style like Chrono Trigger, instead of the random encounters mechanic like in Final Fantasy games, where you're in the world and then you, out of nowhere, are thrust into battle, this time you will see enemies in the area and can try to avoid them. If you make contact with the enemies on screen, you will be thrust into battle mode where you'll be fighting enemies in a turn-based style. The idea of giving Mario a sword to use as a weapon was kind of odd for the team, and Mr. Miyamoto thought it was a better idea to give him a hammer, and they also got feedback from fans who ultimately felt that the hammer was the better idea. Square wanted to reduce the waiting time between the enemy attacks that usually require no input from the player. The goal was to increase player engagement during battle mode to match the dynamics of the Mario series. Hence, the Mario RPG concept was born. Mr. Miyamoto generally gave advice on what he thought would be interesting and told the team to make it fun for everyone. With a little inspiration from Rare and Donkey Kong Country, Square managed the 3D isometric style of the game by having Nintendo suggest incorporating the Super Accelerator 1 chip to enhance the data storage, clocking speed, faster RAM, memory mapping, and many others, and was one of only a few games with that chip that was ever released in the United States. Fujioka and Miyamoto revealed a prototype of this game at the 1995 V-Jump Festival in Japan, showing various towns, a minecart ride, and battles with various monsters with some backgrounds that didn't get into the final game. We also see a previous design of Mario before his final form and the first time we hear Yoko Shimomura's soundtrack. Shimomura borrowed iconic tracks from Super Mario composer Koji Kondo, including the Super Mario 3 World 1 theme mixed with the original Super Mario theme to put together the theme for Mario's Pad, and created her own spin on what Mario's first RPG adventure should sound like. She even borrowed from another iconic video game composer, Nobuo Uematsu, known for the Final Fantasy series, for the game's optional hard boss. The folks at Nintendo of America were surprised by the battle system and RPG menus when a beta arrived from Japan, with one person calling it weird and fun. It was localized and translated into English for the Western market by Square translator Ted Woolsey, who was later criticized by some for not incorporating direct translations to games and changing the scripts due to strict content guidelines and text length. Hence, Super Mario RPG was released in May of 1996 in the United States, and a new type of gameplay has taken gamers by storm. The gameplay for Super Mario RPG did incorporate elements of other Square turn-based RPGs at the time, but it incorporated the platforming elements to appeal to Super Mario fans and perhaps bring in a higher demand for JRPGs in the United States. Some objects that contribute to platforming include the save blocks to save progress, treasure boxes to replace classic question blocks, invisible treasure boxes to incentivize jumping, floating yellow platforms based on the ones from Super Mario World, the classic donut blocks introduced in Super Mario 3, a pot cannon to launch Mario in 3 directions, a spinning flower that launches Mario high and far depending on the direction Mario's facing, and 2 trampolines, one to take you to a different part of the level, to the one that takes you back to the world map. Like I said earlier, you play as Mario in an isometric environment, showing 3D, and instead of random encounters from the Final Fantasy games, you make contact with an enemy to go into battle mode. You can only have 3 characters in battle at one point, so later in the game you will learn the switch feature when you get a 4th character. The game uses typical HP, or hit points, for health. When you get to 0, you lose, or when your enemy gets to 0, you win. Press A to do a standard attack with whatever weapons is equipped. Press B to either choose a defense posture or to run away from a battle. The Y button features a special attack that is unique to the character casting, equivalent to the magic or tech attacks in Square's other RPGs, and uses up FP, or flower points, as an equivalent to MP, or magic points. The X button gives you access to your items, and that will allow you to replenish your health like mushrooms, or flower points like various syrups, able juice and freshen ups to cure status ailments to help aid you in battle. What makes Mario RPG's battle system unique is the introduction of the timed hits that adds additional attack and defense, like I said earlier. What exactly is that? Well, When you attack an opponent with, for example, Mario's hammer, you will hit the enemy once and then the enemy will take his turn. With a timed hit, you hit the A or attack button right when the attack lands. If you press A and time it just right, you can do more damage. The same goes for the special attacks, hitting Y at just the right time, and yes, even using items. The enemies in this game are a combination of classic Mario enemies and original enemies created by Square that do standard attacks, elemental attacks, and even traditional status ailments found in their previous games. When you complete a battle, you will receive experience points, and when you earn enough, you will eventually level up with all your stats going up. And you get to pick one of 3 bonus stat boosts, whether it be HP, MP increase, attack defense, or magic attack, magic defense. Like other RPGs, as you progress through the game, you will come across better weapons, armor, and accessories to equip using the menu. They can be found in various levels as hidden items, or they could be bought in weapon armor shops in various towns. There are a total of 7 worlds in a world map reminiscent of the classic Super Mario World, and Mario will need to conquer all of them to accomplish his main objective. Will Mario have to deal with a new threat to his world? Will Mario encounter new colorful characters? How does Bowser and Princess Toadstool figure into all this? Does a Mario as an RPG game work? All this will be answered in this new Mario RPG game called Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. And this game was released in 1996, and it helped keep me happy in the summer between the 5th and 6th grades. There will be spoilers, so tune out if you don't want to be spoiled. Super Mario RPG opens with the Nintendo logo that crossfades into the Square logo. And then we see a little cutscene with Princess Toadstool picking flowers outside of Mario's pad. It gets dark, with Koopa lurking in his Koopa clown car and abducts her once again, a commonality in most Mario games. Mario exits his house, looks around, and goes after Koopa. We get a little montage of clips, some of which don't make it in the game, and reveals our players for this game, but I won't reveal them yet until we get to the point in the adventure where it is revealed who will be fighting with Super Mario in this all-new adventure. Like Super Mario World before, we start a new save file and begin the game. We see Bowser entering his castle from above thanks to the clown car, with Mario following close behind. Traversing the only bridge to the front entrance. Mario's in the castle now and may get into battle with some Terrapins, who are Koopa's armored Koopa Troopas, armed with blades to fight Mario. Mario himself only has his fist, so he does an initial punch, and if you do the timed hit just right, a double punch. Mario proceeds further, crossing a lava room with lava balls or Sparkies jumping out of the lava. The bridge collapses behind Mario, and then Mario enters a throne room of sorts. He sees Princess tied to a chandelier with Bowser on top of one of them, and this initiates a boss fight. When I first played this, I was confused as to why we are already fighting Bowser in the beginning of the game, because Koopa was always the final boss in all the Mario games up to this point, except for the US version of Super Mario 2. Mario fights and hits the chain holding the chandelier, or the kink link, causing Bowser to fall, with Mario falling with him. Mario defeats Bowser and manages to reach the princess. But the castle starts to shake. From a safe distance, we see a giant sword break through the Star Road and land and plunge itself in Bowser's Keep. And of course, we get the opening title, Super Mario RPG. Mario is propelled out of Bowser's Keep as a result and lands in the pipe right above his pad. Toad runs in to find Mario standing on the mantle, knocked senseless. Mario jumps up, regains his senses, and talks to Toad outside, telling him what happened. Mario goes back to Bowser's Keep to find a giant sword halting his progress, telling us that the Smithy Gang has now taken over the castle and plans to take over Mario's world as well. The sword manages to collapse the bridge before Mario can safely cross, effectively obstructing the rescue of the princess. Mario goes back and tells Toad the bridge is out. Toad tells him they need to inform the Chancellor of the Mushroom Kingdom at once. Before they go, Toad gives Mario a crash course on timed hits to aid him in battle and inform the player on more effective attack and defense strategies. Mario's pad is the first area inside World 1, the Mushroom Kingdom. We find ourselves in the Mushroom Way, made up of 3 areas following Toad and rescuing him from the monsters of this area, including classic Goombas in the first area and Paratroopas in the second area. In order to get to him, we need to jump on a pedal pusher to propel Mario to any upper platform of interest. The last area has Lakitu high up, throwing down red spinies. Mario will engage them in battle mode, but this time will earn experience points or XP and coins as spoils of the battle. Goombas are the easiest, with Paratroopas and Spinies requiring more effort to beat. I usually try to at least get to level 2 before I take on the area boss. The boss here is a Hammer Brothers who talks like a gangster from Jersey and will attack you with his hammer. Beat him to rescue Toad for the last time and receive his hammer, Mario's first weapon upgrade. You upgrade when you access the menu and select the equip option and take the hammer from the menu and place it on Mario's weapon slot. Repeat for armor upgrades and accessories usually found as treasure or at shops scattered throughout Mario's world. We arrive in the Mushroom Kingdom and go straight to the castle. Mario gets an audience with the Mushroom Chancellor and informs him of what happened at Bowser's Keep in a show-don't-tell kind of way. The Chancellor sends Mario to the vault to prepare for his journey. After Mario takes care of business, he exits the castle to witness a robbery taking place. A purple crocodile with a hat is being chased by a puffy young boy who wants his coin back. The thief gets away and the boy starts crying, causing a heavy rainstorm. As Mario, we talk to the boy and he immediately stops crying and actually forgets why he was crying in the first place. A dumb question that literally floors Mario. The boy's name is Mallow, and we find out he is a frog from Tadpole Pond, despite not looking anything at all like a frog, and was there to trade his coin for a delicacy to be given to his grandfather, Frogfucius, the wisest of all characters in this particular Mario world. Mario and Mallow see the thief, whose name is Croco, flee to the Bandit's Way, and they go and pursue him. Mallow has now joined Mario's party. Bandit's Way is an area that is slightly more dangerous and has some more dangerous foes than the Mushroom Way, with the Goombas and the Spinies returning, but we have new enemies like the Canine, whose howl is worse than his bite, and the Frog Gog. It is made up of 5 unique areas as you chase Croco throughout these areas. One of the areas features an invincibility star in the chest, and you can take out enemies on the screen without having to go to battle, and you can earn experience points along the way. Now with Mallow fighting beside you, he starts off with a punch from his long arms and his first special ability, Thunderbolt, which allows him to attack all enemies at once, and if you time the Y button just right, you will get an additional rattle for more damage. In the final area, you close in on Croco and sneak up on him 3 times to instigate a boss fight. Croco can throw bombs, run into you, heal with a weird mushroom. Fight him with Mario's Fire Orb attack until Mallow belts him again, with him dropping the coin, fleeing to steal another day. A trampoline appears, taking us back to the beginning of the level, and we head back to the Mushroom Kingdom. We arrive back in a dark and overrun Mushroom Kingdom, terrorized by shysters bouncing up and down, chasing people, bouncing off of buildings, and even intruding in a few people's homes. Mario and Mallow dispatch these jerks with Mallow's Thunderbolt doing the trick. They go into the castle and rescue the Toads that are being terrorized by these guys. We get to the throne room where we meet the boss of the Shysters, a knife-bouncing lieutenant of Smithy's army who landed in the Mushroom Kingdom after Mario left to chase Croco. Mac and the 4 Shysters initiate a battle, and we hear the Smithy minion boss music for the first time in the game. Between fire attacks and the Shysters bouncing off of you, you beat Mac and manage to obtain the game's very first star piece. Two Shysters flee to inform Smithy about Mario. Mario rescues the Chancellor and frees the Mushroom Kingdom as a result. Mario needs some guidance on his next move, so Mallow suggests they make their way to Tadpole Pond, where Mallow's grandfather lives. Mallow manages to obtain the cricket pie for his grandpa with the frog coin that Croco stole, and our heroes make their way to Kero Sewers in the next area, World 2, Pond to Pipes. Mario and Mallow arrive at the Kero Sewers and go into the pipe, taking them into the larger sewer system. Mario and Mallow encounter a multitude of pathways to go and encounter ghost-type enemies, including Boos. The objective is to be able to navigate the pipe that is submerged in the sewer river, so we need to explore the sewers to find a switch with an exclamation point. Ratfunks also inhabit the sewers, along with the water-dwelling gobies, who resemble Cheep Cheeps, and of course the optional boss, Pandarite, who is a booby trap disguised as a treasure box, beating it to be rewarded a flower jar that raises your total FP to 3, as well as a True Form pin, an accessory to protect against transformation status attacks, turning Mario and friends into either mushrooms or scarecrows, and it also increases defense physically and magically as well. After draining the water and proceeding down the pipe from there, we encounter the boss of this area, Belomi, a dog-like boss who is perpetually hungry. His attacks include licks, Scrofunk, which turns a party member into a scarecrow, or he eats them. If you die when the other is still in Belomi's belly, the game is over. You defeat him, but he proclaims a flood will sweep them. Let's just say Belom was not lying and water does come gushing out of the door. Mario finds himself swept into a waterfall. We have washed into the Midas River course, playing the theme Let's Go Down the Wine River. We drop down the waterfall, trying to grab coins and the first few green frog coins available. If you hit a rock, you'll be in a side area where you won't be in any control of Mario, just flowing and watching the monsters trying to steal a flower from each other, knocking it into your possession. Once you reach the bottom of the waterfall, you land on a barrel to play another game, where you try to jump and grab as many coins as you can using the barrel to shift your position. If you get 60, you will get something great. Let's proceed to Tadpole Pond. Mario and Mallow arrive at Tadpole Pond to be greeted by a young tadpole. Mallow tells him that Mario helped him, and all the tadpoles come out to see him. Mario jumps to give a demonstration proving who he is. I forgot to say, Mario is a celebrity in this world, so we will see plenty of recognition from good and bad guys alike. We meet Frogfucius, who with the help of Lakitu gives up the illusion that he is floating and he welcomes us to his little island. Frogfucius literally knows everything that goes on in Mario's world because all the waterways bring news to Tadpole Pond. He reveals to us that Princess Toadstool and Bowser are no longer at the Bowser's Keep, and were propelled at the same time as Mario, albeit in different directions. He also tells Mario that the star pieces are important and probably have something to do with the shooting stars and wishes coming true. He tells Mallow that he should accompany Mario on his journey to find the stars, and the princess, because we learn that Mallow, in fact, is not a frog. To the shock of Mallow and everyone else somehow. As the music changes to a more somber tone, Frogfucius tells us that Mallow, as an infant, turned up from the waterway, and Frogfucius raised him as his grandson, who had inherent magic abilities and knew there was way more to the little puff than meets the eye. Mallow cries, but Frogfucius puts the kibosh on that and tells him that he must find his real parents and must help Mario, so the journey has become that more important. Let's give Frogfucius the cricket jam that we spent a whole level trying to get back that frog coin. He rewards Mallow with a froggy stick as his first weapon. Frogfucius sends Mario on his way to Rosetown. But before we go, there is a side game that involves going to Tadovsky's area and to try to help him find 3 melodies and play them out on a staff bar using tadpoles as musical notes. So Mario and his friends need to keep a lookout for various tunes to learn on this journey. The reward is obtaining a high-tier membership at the juice bar at Tadpole Pond, where you can get some cool items like froggy drinks, elixirs, etc. Mario and Mallow take their leave of Frogfucius and the tadpoles of Tadpole Pond and make their way to Rosetown. In order to get to Rosetown, Mario and Mallow need to traverse through Rose Way, an area that starts with a large pond that branches into other areas. The large pond has many islands that Mario can navigate towards with the help of the moving yellow platforms from Super Mario World. A true explorer would leave no area unexplored. Enemies in this area include the Star Slap, Snapdragon, Arachne, crooks who like to steal and flee, and the classic Shy Guys from Super Mario Bros. 2 and Yoshi's Island. Mario makes his way around the pond to the Shy Guy treasure box area, and finally the exit. But look who's there. Bowser and a small legion of Goombas, Terrapins, and Magic Koopas are preparing to march on Bowser's Keep to take back his castle from the Smithy Gang, and they depart. Mario and Mallow follow out of the exit and arrive at Rosetown. Rosetown has seen better days. It is dark, but whenever someone walks outside their house, a random arrow will strike someone from afar, causing complete paralysis with the victim completely unable to move. Mario and Mallow upgrade their armor to thick shirt for Mario and thick pants for Mallow. Explore the town to get tips like a secret treasure in the nearby forest from the man in the house on the high ground. Mario makes his way to the town's inn, and we see a little boy playing Mario Rescues the Princess with his toy figures. The little mushroom boy, Gaz, immediately recognizes Mario and asks Mario to play with him, with Mario taking the role of Bowser and Gaz taking the role of Geno. Gaz fires Geno's shooting star shot but hits Mario in the head, knocking him out cold. A little sprite star comes down in the middle of the night and enters the inn, and takes a look at Gaz's doll collection. And decides to take the Geno doll and transform his essence, bringing it to life. The doll, now the same size of an ordinary person, walks out of the town and towards the forest. Mario wakes up and gets downstairs to see Gad trying to tell his mother that Geno walked into the forest. His mother, being a typical parent, doesn't believe him and threatens to ground him if he continues to talk like this. Mario and Mallow follow Geno into the forest maze. The forest maze is an incredible level with that iconic music track, Beware of the Forest Mushrooms, playing in the background. Mario and Mal proceed in the forest and find tree stumps that substitute for the typical green pipes that Mario games are known for. These tree stumps will take Mario underground. We encounter a wider array of enemies in this underground, including rat funks, amanitas, even gorillas, who strangely resemble another ape under the Nintendo umbrella. Mario and Mal come across an area that has many tree stump pipes with many destinations. Therefore, don't be afraid to explore them all. We come across a sleeping wiggler. You remember those yellow caterpillars from Super Mario World who get angry when you jump on them? Well, when you jump on this one, he gets angry and throws you up while causing the forest to shake, opening up a new area and new stump pipe to proceed deeper in the maze. We come across an area that has 4 exits. You can use the Mushroom Dad's direction from earlier to find some rewards, or to proceed with the plot you need to follow Geno. Keep going until you come across the perpetrator of all the flying arrows terrorizing Rosetown, a servant of Smithy named Bowyer, who resembles a bow, and his minions are the arrows. Mario and Mal are hiding, with Mal referencing Bruce Lee when Mario wants to go to fight outright. Geno jumps down and demands Bowyer stop shooting the arrows. Mario and Mal run towards them while dodging arrows, but Mallow stumbles. Geno manages to strike Bowyer, but Bowyer tries to kill him with an arrow, only to be saved by Mario. They help Geno, and a boss battle ensues, but now Geno is a third member of the party. Geno has his projectile attack and the Geno beam as a special attack. Bowyer will state 3 against 1 is not fair, therefore he levels the field by locking a particular button on the controller, whether it be X, Y, or A, for items, special, or attack. Mario can also do his super jump ability at this point, so give it a shot and try to get 100 to complete a specific challenge for later in the game. Continue to pummel Bowyer until you defeat him and receive the second star piece. Geno reveals that he was sent to fix the Star Road that was busted earlier by the giant sword that now stands over Bowser's Keep. In order to fix the Star Road, they need to acquire all the 7 stars, or dreams will never come true. They also need to defeat Smithy in order for peace to return to the land. An arrow minion overhears this conversation and states he must warn Smithy and flees. The party goes back to Rosetown to see it back to normal and with its own upbeat theme. We go back to the inn to see Gaz, with Geno trying to explain their mission to him. Gaz gives Geno his first weapon upgrade, the finger shot. Gaz's mom is impressed with Geno's costume, still not believing her son that the doll came to life. Our heroes proceed to the 3rd world in the game, or they could take a detour and check out the optional pipe vault area. Let's go there before we proceed further. The Pipe Vault is an interesting area that plays Yoko Shimomura's one of 2 takes on the classic Super Mario Underworld theme. The area is pretty linear, with lava and Sparkies jumping out to attack you. We encounter enemies you don't battle with, like the Twomp and the Nipper plant from Mario 3, that will cause Mario to lose coins and hinder his progress. As the name suggests, there are plenty of pipes with piranha plants that you do battle with for the first time. There are plenty of treasures to acquire, and even a pipe-emerging Goomba thumping minigame. Traditional Goombas, Spikies, and Frogogs from earlier will do battle to impede our trio, until they get to the pipe that takes them to Yoster Island, the home of the Yoshis. The green Yoshi is the one that you can communicate with, and acts like a translator between Mario and the other Yoshis. The island is a tourist spot and the home of the Mushroom Derby, where the Yoshis race against each other, and the blue antisocial Yoshi, Boshi, is the champ and the leader of the island. Mario receives cookies for Yoshi and challenges Boshi to a race. If Yoshi wins, he becomes the leader of the island and makes life on the island better than before. Let's end this little detour and continue the story by proceeding to World 3, also known as Mole Mountains. We start this new area in the town of Moleville, inhabited by a mining community of moles. We go to the item and weapon shops to update weapons and armor, with Mal receiving the symbols and Mario receiving the punch glove as new weapons to equip, and the mega armor for each character. Geno's, this time, is a cape. We also catch up with Bowser and his diminished legion of troops in the corner of the town, angry that more than half of his troops ran off in fear of the Smithy Gang. Wow, that tells you something about the main villains in this game. Bowser still leads with his men and leaves Moletown. We find out a star has crashed into the mountain behind the town, trapping a young girl named Dinah and her baby brother, Mite. The entrance to the mine is blocked off, so only Mario's jump can reach the upper entrance, since I guess the moles here don't really know anything about ladders. Mario goes deep into the mountain and encounters new enemies including Magmites, Enigmas, Bob-ombs, star-like clusters, and Sparkies from Pipe Vault. We find a smile trampoline in the middle of a room with multiple exits, and jump on it for Mario to crash into the ceiling, knocking him out cold. Mario comes to and finds Croco hovering over him with 3 crooks, robbing him of all his coins. The party gives chase in the caves, and the crooks hide, hence fighting them is optional. But when you get to Croco, you initiate another boss fight, round 2. Croco this time has higher HP and the same attacks, throwing bombs, colliding into our characters, and this time throws a chomp. He also steals all the items halfway through, so beating him ASAP is recommended. Croco defeated retreats yet again, and this time leaves behind a bomb. Mario gives this to Pa Mole, and he uses this to open up access to deeper into the mountain. Follow the track and grab the star in the nearby treasure box to defeat the bob-ombs in your way, and continue down the path before you get to the boss. If you run directly toward this new boss, he will push you back into the previous room, so you need to contact him from the side to start the battle. His name is Nello, Punchinello, and he is a hothead, or so they say, and is guarding the 3rd star for some reason, since he is not a member of the Smithy Gang. The battle with him involves summoning different levels of bombs, going from micro bombs to regular bob-ombs to bigger meso bombs, and to the final King Bomb itself landing and crushing him. King Bomb goes off with our heroes caught in the blast. The star piece heals them, and Mario acquires it. The next room, we find Dinah trying to move a minecart. Hence, we help her move the minecart, initiating the Minecart Minigame. Mario controls the cart in a dramatic 3D perspective by leaning the direction he intends to go, and if you go too fast or fail to turn, you will fall off the track. The game changes from a 3D perspective to a side-scrolling one to be repeated twice. Collect mushrooms to boost speed, and you will eventually exit the mountains and ride off the track and crash through the roof of Ma and Pa Mole, literally dropping in on them. Mario rescues the kids, but that begs the question, where's Toadstool? Mario leaves the house to see a flying beetle being chased by 3 Sniffets. The beetle lands on Mario's head, and the Sniffets tell him it is supposed to be a present for their master, Booster. The beetle flees, and the Sniffets run off, with Mario following them. Mario, Mallow, and Geno find themselves in Booster Pass, a road that leads to Booster Tower on the map. The pass consists of rugged hills and steep cliffs with new enemies including Lakitu himself, Artichokers, Spikesters, which are green versions of Spinies, and Carabasus, a floating carrot. Make your way up through the first area, and then find a notch in the second area that houses a hidden switch. The switch will fill up the cavities in the mountain, vanquishing the Spikesters in them. We get to the top and proceed to Booster Tower. Mario arrives at Booster Tower to find Bowser alone and crying. Apparently his Koopa Troop completely abandoned him, and he is reminiscing about the good old days of being the bad guy in every previous Mario game. Take note how you see a voyeur from behind the door. Could this be the enigmatic Booster? Bowser sees Mario and immediately stops crying, trying to maintain his image as the ultimate baddie, accidentally saying, "Hey, how you been?" and then reverses it to a more menacing, "You! What are you doing here?" We pan above to see Princess Toadstool on top of the tower. She sees them and screams for Mario to come up and rescue her. Bowser decides to leave, but then immediately comes back and breaks down the door to the tower. He tells Mario that he is gonna go against his own good judgment and allow him to join the Koopa Troop, while in all reality, Bowser actually just joins Mario's group. Now that we have 4 playable characters, we need to switch one out in order to bring Bowser into the fight, since we can only have 3 people at a time. We enter Booster Tower and encounter Sniffet 1 at the reception desk to begin a fight. Mario makes his way up the tower, walking past portraits of the different generations of boosters that will be important later, so we should take note. Mario makes his way up the tower, encountering Spookums that are basically light blue Sniffets, accompanied by Jesters, Remocons, and Orb users. There's a room with a seesaw and a Bob-omb on it that, if jumped on from the proper height above, can propel you to the treasure box that has the Masher, a great hammer superior to the later Super Hammer for Mario to equip. We meet Booster, who rides his train throughout his home, kind of like Walt Disney did back in the day, and welcomes Mario, but says he doesn't have time to play since a princess fell out of the sky and is too busy entertaining her. Booster runs off with Mario following in a small room, but Sniffet 2 blocks him and another battle ensues. Mario proceeds up the tower further, encountering Rob-ombs, and enters the room with a switch. Press it to unlock something in Booster Pass. We come to a room with a pillar and 2 curtains. Proceed on the other side to become 8-bit Mario from the original game with a variation of the 8-bit theme until you try to leave, and then you ultimately revert back to Mario's original form. We come across a little game where we have to match the generations of Booster's portraits in proper order to get a key to the adjacent room. Inside the room is a Chomp that becomes Bowser's equipable weapon. We come across a seesaw that has a Twomp on it. Jump on it to proceed further up. We enter a room with coins, frog coins, and a key placed throughout. Watch where you step or a fireball will appear out of nowhere, starting a battle. Fireballs are basically blue Sparkies this time. Get the key and go into the locked room to receive the Zoom Shoes accessory. Mario goes into the adjacent room to fight Chain Chomps and steps into another room to find Booster at the end of his personal railway. Booster says that the princess keeps saying "Help me, Mario" over and over again, and surmises that Mario is indeed this Mario character who has come to take his bride away. Yikes, Booster has some pretty cringe intentions. He throws some Bob-ombs at you and you choose to fight each of them head on or hide in the alcove behind the open portrait. Booster cries and retreats. Mario proceeds further up Booster Tower and saves his game prior to entering Booster's playroom. He finds the door to the balcony Toadstool is being held on, but it's locked. Booster and the Sniffet attendants are coming, so Mario runs and hides behind the curtains. Booster and the Sniffets come in and try to do a wedding rehearsal with the Sniffet holding the princess doll as the bride. Booster realizes that in order for the rehearsal to be complete, they need to take into account that Mario will jump in to ruin everything, so they try to look for the Mario doll to no avail. Booster thinks it's behind the curtains, so we start a little minigame with the Sniffets opening the curtains, whereas we play as Mario and we need to avoid being spotted. And the game is in 3 stages, as each Sniffet adds to more curtains being opened at a single time. If Mario is spotted 3 times, you go to battle with Booster and the Sniffets. If you win though, Booster opens the final curtain and spots the Mario doll above Mario. The doll is too high for them to reach, so Mario helps by knocking it to the floor, and Booster gives you a heartfelt thank you before wandering off to take the princess to Marrymore to get married. Mario and crew follow, only to start a boss fight on the balcony against 2 of Booster's playmates, Knife Guy and Great Guy. Knife Guy uses physical attacks and Great Guy uses magic, mainly status attacks. They team up for a few turns and cause more damage, with both using magic to attack the whole party. I usually defeat Knife Guy first since he has lower HP, and then take out Great Guy. You defeat them and hop off the balcony to pursue Booster further. We arrive at Booster Hill and a minigame chase ensue with Mario chasing Booster up a hill carrying the princess with the Sniffets behind trying to hinder your progress. Hop on the rolling barrels to propel Mario closer to Booster, and if you contact the princess, she throws you a flower. Continue this for a certain amount of time until you get to the top. We have arrived in the area called Marrymore, a marriage resort which is made up of a hotel and a chapel to get married in. The hotel has a shop that allows our players to upgrade their weapons and armor, and some new accessories. Everyone, including the couple from Mushroom Kingdom, Raz and Riney, are kicked out of the chapel by Booster and his minions, so Mario has to go in through the back, slip through Chef Torte's kitchen, who is making a very large wedding cake. We get to the front room, and Sniffit 1 spots you and tries to warn the other, but the door is locked from the other side. Mario helps Sniffit number 1 break through the door to the middle room, but the door to the chapel is locked, so this time Mario and Bowser bust through the door together to the chapel, knocking over the princess, and her dropping all of her apparel. Mario requires 3 of her apparel from the Sniffits, but her crown is still missing, but we find it on Booster's head. If you acquire the items fast enough, you may get a kiss from the princess. If not, you may get a kiss from Bowser, or even Booster. The chef comes up with the large cake, only to find out that Mario has cancelled the wedding, inciting a battle with the chef, his assistant, and somehow the cake itself. This is a freaking ridiculous battle. I mean, I guess the chef was really proud of his work and just got angry at the wedding cancellation. You can't hurt the chef, but you can hurt the cake, and as the battle goes on, the cake starts to move, with the assistant seeing it, only to be dismissed by the chef until they both realize, the cake is alive, run! So Mario and his party fight the cake, bunt, blowing its candles out as the cake delivers some pretty nasty attacks. Defeat its upper half and do some damage to its lower raspberry half to trigger the Sniffits and Booster to come into the battle, wondering how to eat the cake. The Sniffits tell him to eat it in a single gulp. They toss the cake into his mouth and he deems the wedding a success and departs back to his high-rise, to the bewilderment of everyone in the room. Mario has finally rescued the princess, and she joins the party. We let Raz and Riney and the rest of the wedding party back into the chapel and depart Marrymore for the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario and the party arrive back at the Mushroom Kingdom to escort the princess back to the castle. Toad and everyone else is happy to have her back, but they freak out when Bowser's in the party too. The princess tells everybody that Mario has things under control, and Bowser tells his side of the story, saying he has bigger fish to fry and that he meant to take a vacation. Then Bowser breaks and is upset he was displaced from his home. Geno tells the Chancellor about the Star Road and how for things to go back to normal they need to deal with Smithy. Mallow suggests they talk to his grandpa, Frogfucius, to find out where the fourth star is. The princess proclaims she is going to go with Mario, but the Chancellor protests, saying Mario's journey is too dangerous and no place for a princess. She concedes and retreats to her room. However, as Mario departs, Princess sneaks out of her room and glides down with her umbrella and decides to join Mario after all. She is actually very useful in battle as a healer, with therapy and group hug extremely helpful. They depart for Tadpole Pond. Thanks everybody for checking out part 1 of my Super Mario RPG retrospective. Part 2 will cover the rest of the game and my final thoughts and takeaways. Will Mario recover the remaining stars and defeat Smithy? Will Bowser's alliance with Mario remain intact? Does Mallow find his real parents? How does the Nerdporeal lifeform feel overall about this game? Stay tuned to find out. To be concluded next time.